Welcome to Voice of Compassion. Tonight, imagine yourself walking through a beautiful castle. The air is calm, music floats softly in the distance, everything looks peaceful, perfect. And yet, inside you, something feels tense. Your hand is holding something fragile, something precious, something you are afraid to lose. This is a Zen story about balance, about responsibility and joy, about learning how to walk through life without spilling what matters and without missing what is beautiful. As you listen, allow your body to relax. Let your breath slow down. You do not need to solve anything tonight. Just walk and listen to the story of the secret of happiness. Story 16, The Secret of Happiness, Part 1, The Castle plus the First Walk, Only the Spoon. Introduction. A young heart that could not rest. There was once a young man named Elias. He was not poor. He was not starving. His life was normal. And yet his heart felt hungry, not for food, for meaning. He woke up each morning with a strange question in his chest. Why am I not happy? Some days were good. Some days were easy. But even on good days, something inside him stayed restless. He watched other people laugh and wondered, how do they do that? He bought new things, but the joy faded fast. He made plans, but worry followed the plans. He tried to be better, but the pressure made him tired. At night, when the world became quiet, Elias felt the loudness inside his own mind. So he decided to search. He heard a rumor about a wise man who lived high in the mountains. People said this wise man knew the secret of happiness. Not the loud happiness of parties, but the deep happiness that stays even when life is hard. Elias packed a small bag. He left his town before sunrise, and he began to climb, setting the scene. The castle on the mountain. The mountain road was long. At first, Elias walked through green hills and small forests. Birds called from branches. Cold air touched his face. As he climbed higher, the trees changed. Pine trees appeared, tall and dark, whispering in the wind. The air became thinner. The sky became wider. Clouds moved below him like slow white rivers. Finally, after many hours, Elias reached a high stone gate. 2 towers stood on each side, old but strong. Beyond the gate, he saw it. A castle, not a Cold War castle, a beautiful castle. Its walls were made of pale stone that glowed in sunlight. Vines climbed along the edges, green and alive. Windows were large, catching the sky. And from inside, Elias heard music, soft music, like a harp or a flute, floating through the open air. Elias stepped forward, amazed. The courtyard was wide and clean. A fountain sang gently in the center. Water fell in silver lines, making a peaceful sound. Servants moved quietly, carrying trays of fruit and flowers. On the walls inside the entrance, Elias saw tapestries, large cloth pictures showing forests, oceans, stars, and animals. The colors were deep and warm, like sunsets. And as Elias walked deeper into the castle, he smelled roses. Not one rose. Many roses. A garden waited beyond the stone halls. Elias's eyes widened. So much beauty, he thought. So much peace. Maybe this is happiness, he told himself. Maybe happiness is living in a place like this. A servant approached him and bowed. You have come to see the wise man, the servant said. Elias nodded quickly. Yes, he said. I came for the secret of happiness. The servant smiled softly. Follow me, he said. They walked through a long hallway. The floor was smooth stone, cool underfoot. The walls were covered with Persian rugs, rich patterns, fine threads, colors like wine and gold. Every few steps, a window opened to the mountains. Sunlight poured in. Clouds moved slowly in the distance. Elias wanted to stop and stare, but the servant walked steadily. At last, they reached a quiet room with open doors leading to a terrace. On the terrace sat the wise man. He was older, with silver hair and calm eyes. He wore simple clothes, nothing like a king. He held a small cup of tea. His posture was relaxed, like he had all the time in the world. The wind moved gently around him. Behind him, flowers swayed. Below him, the whole valley looked small and far away. Elias bowed deeply. Sir, Elias said, voice full of hope, I have come a long way. Please tell me, What is the secret of happiness? The wise man looked at Elias. His eyes were kind, but they were also clear. He could see Elias's impatience like smoke. The wise man did not answer quickly. He took a slow sip of tea. Elias felt his chest tighten. Why is he so slow? Elias thought. Why does he not just tell me? Finally, the wise man spoke. You want the secret, he said softly. Yes, Elias replied quickly. I do. The wise man nodded once. Then you must learn how to walk, he said. Elias blinked. Walk? He repeated, confused. The wise man lifted his hand. A servant stepped forward, holding a small silver spoon. On the spoon was oil. Only a few drops, golden, shining. The wise man pointed gently. Take this spoon, he said, and walk through my castle. Look carefully, then come back to me. Elias reached out and took the spoon. It was heavier than he expected. The oil sat on it like tiny suns. Elias looked up. And then you will tell me? He asked. The wise man smiled faintly. We will speak, he said. Then his voice became a little firmer, still calm but clear. Do not spill the oil, the wise man said. Elias swallowed. Not even one drop? The wise man's eyes stayed gentle. Not even one drop, he said. Elias felt a wave of nervous pressure. This is the test, he thought. He nodded. Yes, he said. Round 1. Only the spoon. Elias turned and began to walk. At first, he stepped carefully, slowly, like walking on ice. His eyes locked onto the spoon. He watched the oil the way a worried person watches a fragile glass. Every small movement of his hand made the oil tremble. His breath became tight. Do not spill, he thought. Do not spill. As he walked down the hallway, he did not notice the rugs. He did not notice the tapestries. He did not notice the sunlight. His world became small. Spoon, oil. Spoon, oil. A servant passed him carrying flowers. Elias did not look up. Music floated from a distant room. Elias did not hear it clearly. He only heard his own fear. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. He reached a garden doorway. Beyond it, roses bloomed in rows. Fountains sparkled. Peacocks walked slowly, their feathers like painted jewels. But Elias did not see the peacocks. He did not smell the roses. He did not feel the cool garden air, because his eyes stayed on the spoon. He walked the path through the garden as if it was only stone. He stepped around a fountain, watching the oil. He passed an orange tree full of fruit, watching the oil. He crossed a small bridge, watching the oil. At last, after what felt like a long time, he returned to the terrace. His hand was stiff. His shoulders were tight. His jaw ached from clenching. But the oil was still there. Not a drop had spilled. Elias felt proud. He lifted the spoon slightly and said quickly, I did it. The wise man looked at the spoon. Then he looked at Elias's face, and he asked quietly, What did you see? Elias opened his mouth, then paused. He blinked. What did I see? He tried to remember. A hallway, stone floor, a garden path, but the details were empty. He realized he could not describe the rugs. He could not describe the tapestries. He could not describe the garden. He had been there, but he had not been there. Elias swallowed. I don't know, he admitted softly. I only watched the oil. The wise man nodded, as if this was expected. His voice stayed calm. Then, he said gently, Go again. Elias's eyes widened. Again? He asked. The wise man lifted the cup of tea. Yes, he said, but this time, look around. He gestured toward the castle behind Elias. See the marvels, he said. Elias's heart beat faster. But if I look around, I will spill, he thought. The wise man's eyes stayed kind but steady. Go, he said softly. Elias took a slow breath. He turned, holding the spoon carefully, and he began the second walk. Story 16. The Secret of Happiness. Part 2. The second walk. Only the beauty, plus the secret, plus reflection. Round 2. Only the beauty. Elias stepped away from the terrace again. The spoon rested in his palm. The oil shimmered in the sunlight. But now the wise man's words echoed inside him. Look around. See the marvels. Elias tried to do both. He kept one eye on the spoon and one eye on the world. At first he moved slowly, careful as before. he walked through the hallway. This time, he looked up, and suddenly, the castle appeared. As if it had been invisible on his first walk, he saw Persian rugs on the walls, deep red, dark blue, gold like fire. The patterns were so detailed, they looked like living gardens woven into cloth. He saw tapestries with scenes of far places, deserts with caravans, oceans with ships, forests full of deer and moonlight. Light poured through tall windows and made soft shapes on the floor. Elias felt his chest loosen. It's beautiful, he thought. He took a few more steps. And the music. He heard it now. A flute somewhere. A gentle drum far away. It sounded like the castle was breathing. Elias's face softened. He turned a corner and reached the garden doorway again. Outside, the garden waited like a dream. Roses opened like small red suns. White flowers hung like stars. The air smelled sweet and clean. A fountain sparkled, throwing tiny drops into the light. Elias smiled without meaning to. He stepped into the garden. A peacock walked slowly across the path. Its feathers were green and blue, shining like hidden treasure. Elias stopped, amazed. He leaned slightly forward to see the feather colors change. He forgot the spoon for one small moment. Not a long moment, just one breath. But one breath can be enough. The spoon tilted. A single drop of oil slid to the edge and fell. Elias did not see it fall at first. He was watching the peacock. Then he heard it. A tiny sound. Plip! A soft drop landing on stone. Elias froze. His stomach tightened. He looked down at the spoon. The oil was less. His hand began to shake. Oh, lo, he thought. He tried to straighten the spoon quickly. But sudden movement made it worse. 2 more drops trembled and slipped off the silver edge. Plip! Plip! Elias's throat went dry. He held the spoon still, trying to stop the shaking. But now his mind was noisy again. I failed. The garden seemed far away now. The music faded. Only fear remained. Elias walked back to the terrace, slower than before. His shoulders sank. He did not feel proud now. He felt embarrassed. When he reached the wise man, he bowed his head. He held out the spoon. The wise man looked. He saw the missing oil. He did not scold. He did not smile in a teasing way. He simply nodded, calmly, like someone watching a lesson unfold. Elias spoke first, voice low. I spilled it, he admitted. I looked around, and I spilled it. The wise man's eyes stayed gentle. Yes, he said softly. Elias's chest tightened with frustration. So what is the answer? He asked. What am I supposed to do? If I focus only on the spoon, I miss life. If I focus on life, I fail the task. The wise man placed his cup down. He looked out at the mountains for a moment, as if listening to the wind. Then he looked back at Elias. The secret. The secret of happiness, the wise man said slowly, is to see all the marvels of the world. He paused. Elias held his breath. And never to forget the drops of oil on the spoon. The words landed softly, like snow, like a blanket. Elias blinked. He understood a little, but not fully. The wise man continued, gently, making the meaning clearer without forcing it. If you watch only the oil, he said, your life becomes small. You will be tense. You will miss beauty. You will miss people. You will miss the sky. Elias remembered his first walk. The garden had been right there, and he had not seen it. The wise man continued. But if you watch only beauty, he said, you become careless. You forget what matters. You lose your discipline. And then your life spills. Elias remembered the drops falling. Plip, plip. The wise man leaned forward slightly. Happiness is balance, he said. Not tight control. Not wild distraction. He lifted his hand, palm open. See the world, he said. Enjoy the roses. Hear the music. Feel the wind. Then he closed his fingers slowly, like holding something precious. But keep your inner discipline, he said. Keep your responsibility. Keep your values. Keep your practice. Elias looked down at the spoon. Then he looked up at the garden beyond the terrace. And he finally saw the whole picture. The castle was not the goal. The spoon was not the goal. The goal was the way he walked. The way he held his attention. Elias whispered, so It's not one or the other. The wise man smiled faintly. No, he said. It is both. Elias felt a warmth in his chest. Not excitement, something calmer, something steady. But how? Elias asked quietly. How do I do both at once? The wise man's voice was soft, like teaching a child to breathe. One step, he said. One breath. One moment. He gestured toward Elias's heart. Do not abandon your duties, he said, but do not abandon your life. Then he added, many people spill the oil because they chase everything. Many people never see the garden because they fear everything. He looked at Elias with kind eyes. Walk with care, he said, and walk with wonder. The wind moved through the terrace flowers. Somewhere inside the castle, music continued, gentle, patient, and Elias sat very still, letting the lesson sink into him. Reflection. And now, dear listener, maybe you also carry a spoon. Not a silver spoon, a different spoon. Your responsibilities, your work, your health, your promises, your inner practice. And maybe you also live in a castle. Not a stone castle, but a world full of beauty. Morning light through a window. The smell of coffee or tea. A friend's voice. A child's laughter. Rain on the roof. The quiet comfort of your bed. Some days we hold the spoon too tightly. We worry, we control, we become anxious. We keep the oil, but we miss the garden. Other days we run into the garden and forget everything. We chase pleasure, we lose discipline, we spill what matters. The secret is not to choose one side. The secret is to remember both, to enjoy what is here without losing yourself. So tonight, take one slow breath. Ask yourself softly, what is my oil? What is my garden? Then hold your spoon gently, not with fear, with care, and look up at the world. Not with distraction, with presence. This is balance. This is the secret of happiness. Rest now. Let your mind be steady, and let your heart also see beauty. The end. The spoon is still in your hand. The world is still around you, but something has shifted. The oil does not need fear. The garden does not need forgetting. Happiness is not found by tightening your grip, and it is not found by letting go of everything. It lives in attention. As you drift toward sleep, or return gently to your day, remember this: you cannot control everything you carry, and you cannot stop the world from blooming around you. But you can choose how you walk. Hold your responsibilities with care. Look up at the beauty with presence. Taste the roses of your life. And keep your inner balance steady. Thank you for spending this moment with Voice of Compassion. Breathe in awareness. Breathe out tension. Rest well